Welcome everybody to another episode of Stardom. I have a very special guest, Big Grizz. How you doing, man?
I'm great, man. Appreciate you having me on and ready to see what's in store.
Right on. So before we get too into it, I would like for all of my listeners to kind of get an idea of who I work with. Tell everybody a little bit about you and whatever you want to tell them. What you do for work or whatever.
Yeah, so I'm a recently transplant citizen to metropolitan Detroit, Michigan. Moved from Southwest Minnesota, right on the Iowa South Dakota border. Small town to big city, so big adjustments for me. But I've over the last probably 15 years, I've done a lot of caretaking jobs and taking care of people with multiple sets of disabilities and everything like that. So
I've noticed on your Instagram you do some like almost I wouldn't say coaching, but you like talk with people.
yeah. Yep. Yeah. So I'm right now. I've taken a position as a job coach for a day program for people with traumatic brain injuries, which is a whole new setting for me. And so it's a little bit overwhelming, but I mean, so far it's been pretty good. I can't complain. I actually I got the opportunity to go see my first Lion games with one of my residents. So that was really cool. And everything. So yeah, it's a whole new adjustment for me, but we're taking it on, man.
That's awesome. I'm a supervisor at Costco. Yeah, that's what I do for a living. I actually started this. It was a mix between my wife reading Amazon reviews and watching TikToks and saying, "Hey, look at this crazy shit." And then some of the stuff that I hear at work, this is a nice way to vent and just find humor in the stupidity and craziness of people.
Hey, you know what? And in today's world, why shouldn't we be able to laugh, man? I mean, there's too much bullshit going on right now. So, I mean, if we can laugh and have a good time, let's do it.
Exactly, man. 100% agree. So this episode, I picked the topic of beards, obvious reasons. Does that actually get in the way when you wear a mask? If you have to wear a mask?
So right now, I'm lucky, and we're not having to right now in Michigan. But when we did, and even before I moved here from Minnesota, when we would have to wear one, it was ridiculous. And I mean, this is basically your mask.
Yeah.
So I mean, and it put lines in there, and it just, oh man, it drove me up the wall.
I can't put any like paste or balm, any of that stuff. I've got a whole setup in my house that I can't even use because it just folds, or it's ridiculous.
Yeah, well, and two, I mean, with what you're putting into your beard, I mean, some of it's gonna absorb into the beard, but some of it's obviously, or the majority of it's gonna absorb into your mask. So it's like, defeating the purpose here. So I mean, as a bearded man, I was very, very upset with it. But I did have one of my coworkers from my job in Minnesota before I moved, who she made us homemade masks, and so she actually made me some that I could take, and I could stuff my beard inside.
What? That's neat.
Yeah. I'll have to maybe tomorrow or sometime this weekend. I'll have to get one out of my truck, and I'll see if I can take a picture of it and send it to you.
Yeah. Definitely, I want to see. I want to see. I definitely want to see. Okay, so I found several memes that were pretty funny, and then I found some historical facts about beards. So I kind of mixed them all together. Do you know much about the history of beards?
You know what? I'm still learning. But I do know some of the myths that are out there. But I'm very interested in seeing what you throw my way, man.
All right. Well, let's get into it with this first one. This is a meme I found. It says, "Not everyone can be bearded. Someone has to stand at the side and clap as men with beards go by."
This is true. This is true. You know, and honestly, I get so many young men and inspiring kids who come up and they're just like, "Oh my gosh, I love your beard, man," you know, or people who come up and they're just like, I can't grow here, I get patchy and everything like that." I'm just like, I mean, like, no offense, but either you got it or you don't. I mean,
Sure.
it's obviously it's all genetics, and either you have it or you don't. It's not a bad thing, you know. I mean, it is what it is, you know, and fortunately for me, I mean, God bless me with the traits of being able to grow hair, except for not up here.
Yeah, well, see, I mean, I started losing out my red's all going white up here, so I just kind of cut it short.
Yeah, I'm getting some whites in here right now too, so I'm just like, oh man.
This is actually like 2 years. Mine is not nearly the same as yours, but it doesn't grow the same, you know. So I just leave it the way it is.
But even people who come at me who have nice, even small beards, you know, like I always try to praise them and be like, hey, you know, don't sell yourself short, you know. I mean, just because mine's bigger doesn't make it better, you know. I mean, you can have a small beard and still make it look really nice, you know. So I mean, I try to keep the encouragement up to those people who, you know, who really want to try and advance their growth.
Yeah. Hey, at least you don't look homeless. You look good.
This is true. Hey, I mean, I got to give my buddy props. I mean, honestly, I mean, up until, gosh, are we coming up on 3 years now? I think up until about 3 years ago, I never used any product whatsoever. I just straight shampoo, conditioner. That's it. You know, like I didn't know anything about beard care, anything like that. And so I was getting my hair cut one day, and the lady that cut my hair, I'm just like, you know, hey, like, I don't know where to start with finding, you know, like a beard oil or whatever, you know, like, could you guide me? And she's like, yeah, sure, no problem. So I laid it out to her. I'm like, all right, this is the only stipulation I have. I don't want any scent, because I'm me personally, I'm not one who likes fragrance, you know, because I mean, you put it in and it's right here, it's right by your nose, you know. It's like I'm good. Just something that's, you know, either low key scented, very low key scented, or non scented. And so she come back. We tried a couple products, and I wasn't dealing with you know, what she was finding and stuff. So I was like, you know what, you know, like, you know, no hard feelings. I mean, I appreciate your effort, but so I'm like, all right, cool. I'm just going to kind of take it in my own hands. And, you know, so I just popped on Instagram and just started looking up beard care companies and started coming across. And I didn't realize how booming of an industry, you know, that there is out there for products. Like, it blew my mind. And so, you know, I'd find these places and I would just, you know, send them a DM and be like, you know, hey, I'm looking for something that's non-scented. Do you guys got something? And everybody's like, no, sorry, you know, whatever. Come across my boy. Wait, there we go. There we go. Jim Bob's Grizzly Beard Care. And it literally, he's like, yeah, he goes, I got something. He goes, it's got a slight apricot scent to it. But he goes, I think it'd be a good fit for you. I think it's probably something that you're gonna, or what you're looking for. I'm like, all right, cool. It took me 6 months to pull the trigger on it. Like, I was that hesitant, you know, 6 months. Finally, I pulled the trigger on him and I was like, all right, man, I'm going to give you a try.
Yeah.
Got it in the mail. Loved it. Fell in love with it. And then shortly after that, he put it out there that he was looking for more ambassadors to join. And I, you know, I'm like, hey, bro, I'm like, I'm working, you know, 70, 80, 90 hour weeks at times. Like, my schedule's crazy busy. You know, I'm like, if you're willing to work with me, like, you know, like I'll do my best for you and see what we can do. And he's just like, yeah, he goes, yeah, let's give it a try. And I mean, 3 years later, I'm out here representing his product, you know, not only here, but here. And I mean, it's been great. And to be honest with you, like it's grown into a great friendship. He only lives about an hour away from where I currently live, and so it's been a ride, man. He brought me down. Well, he didn't bring me down. I flew myself out here for a beard competition. I believe it was 3 years ago in Detroit, and that was the first time I met him and his wife. And I mean, we've just been rocking it ever since. It's been a wild ride, and I love it.
That's awesome, man. That's such a random way to find them too, just through Instagram, and they're local.
Yeah, and I guess for me too, it's been a win-win for me all the way around, because not only was he able to provide me with a beard care product that I absolutely love, but it also gave me the opportunity to represent and promote a veteran-owned company as well. So, and that's one thing that I stand very, very proudly with is being able to support veterans in any way you can. So, it's been a real good ride from the get-go. So
good to hear, man. All right, let's get into a history lesson here. All right.
Oh boy.
In 1850, Alan Withy wrote, "Doctors were beginning to encourage men to wear beards as a means of warding off illness. A thick beard, it was reasoned, would capture the impurities before they could get inside the body. Others saw it as a means of relaxing the throat, especially for those whose work involved public speaking. Some doctors were even recommending that men grew beards to avoid sore throats."
I did not hear that one. That's I mean, with everything going on these last, year and a half or so. I mean, hey, what better time to be a bearded man?
I don't need a mask. I've got this.
You know what? I couldn't tell you how many times I've had people ask me, "Have you folded that up and tried using that as a mask?" Yeah, I can. You know what? Again, I'll send you a picture.
That's good. Dude, I don't even want to keep talking about mask. I talked about the mask way too much.
But I mean, you know what? Hey, let's be real though. You go back to those days, how many ridiculous fake bullshit, medical, thoughts people had back then that just were absolutely absurd. And now we can sit back and we can look at it and be like, you guys were absolutely ridiculous, but then too, for me, like I sit and I think, I'm just like, how is that going to be for like grandkids of our generation or great grandkids of our generation? Like, are they going to, look back on us and be like, man, they were fucked up?
I'm more concerned like the way music is getting, like how outrageous music is getting. Some of the weird shit coming out now, it's like, that's not music.
Absolutely. I mean, yeah, what these kids listen to nowadays, I just gotta roll my eyes and shake my head. I'm just like, what? And
that's coming from a metalhead. I like some pretty heavy stuff.
Oh man. Hey, I mean, I listen to literally everything. So I mean, I'll say this though, at least they can keep classical music where it needs to be.
Oh, I agree. I mean, I'll always be able to listen to some Miami Sound Machine or some B.B. King, Stevie Vaughan, Tom Petty. I mean, I'll listen to anything from, I'll listen to some older country. I don't really like the newer country.
Yeah.
But I'm not really into the rap stuff. I like older rap, but yeah.
I mean, 90s is where it's at. I mean, you can maybe slide into the early 2000s a little bit, but I mean, I would say anything probably after like 2005 maybe. I mean, it's very slim pickings, with what you have out there. So it definitely doesn't compare to the 90s.
No.
Just music in general, nothing compares to the 90s.
That's true. I mean,
for any genre.
Even punk, like people talk about punk music today. No, it's too blended with other shit. It's not punk. It's not punk music, you know. All right. Next up. Beards are like boobs. The bigger they are, the longer they stare.
Facts. Facts. I've gotten to a point now where if I'm out, I don't hear people make comments, and we'll be walking somewhere, my girlfriend and I, and she'll be like, so and so just complimented your beard. I was like, oh, didn't even hear it. Or hey, they're staring at your beard, man. I'm just like,
I feel like the weirdest thing is like, hey, can I touch it? Like, do people do that? Hey, can I touch your beard?
Absolutely. Probably one of the most awkward moments that I've had with that. This was many years ago, probably 5+ years ago. I was still living in Minnesota. And so I was working at one of the local gas stations as a fill me in second job, just kind of get some extra money and stuff. And I had this lady come in, and she just like kept staring at me. And finally she just comes up. She's just like, I have to ask you. I'm like, okay, can I touch your beard? And absolutely. And if it's not gonna upset my girlfriend, absolutely, by all means, go for it. If she gives the nod, go for it. She's like, I'm just like, sorry. Yeah. Everybody's just like, they're just like, just nice with it. This lady just like was like in it, and I'm just like, what? So
okay, all right.
Yeah, she definitely she took a good situation and turned it very awkward very quick. So, I'm sure if my girlfriend from that time had walked in, there would have been a blow up.
That's good. I actually didn't even have a beard until I got with my wife, and then she was like, you should grow one out. I was like, cool. But yeah, like you said, some people get patchy. I get patchy. So I just fucking, it took a little over a year for it to really kind of fill in my chin area, because it was a matter of, I'm going to trim it up, and then I'd trim it up too far because it's too patchy. And I'd mess up the other side. Then I'd, start over again.
And that's actually funny because, goodness gracious, this goes back probably close to 15 years ago. I was dating another gal out here in Michigan. Actually was engaged to her, and I was getting ready to come on out to visit her. And so I was like, I had a pretty nice beard, maybe about half this size. And I'm like, well, I'm just going to try to trim up some of the split ends and everything like that. Well, the guard on my trimmer was broken. So I was like, all right, I'm going to hold it on a 13 with my finger and I'll be good. And somehow it slipped from 13 to 1, and I didn't notice it. And I started down here, and I just one swipe, chills through my body. Since then, I have not, I can't line my cheek up. I don't touch trimming my beard. I don't do my mustache. My buddy, my Jim Bob, he's a barber, so he cuts my hair now that I'm out here. And he's like, man, he goes, I'll show you how to do it. It's really easy. I'm like, no, just thinking about it raises my anxiety.
Oh yeah,
bro, no, you're the professional. I'm paying you. Earn that money, bro.
If I had something that I'd worked on, as long as that looks like it's been worked on, I'd be so frustrated if something like that happened. And you said it was half of that. That's
yeah. But back then, I wasn't growing it out for anything major. Actually, back then, I was one of my coworkers had asked me if I would paint it white or spray it white and play Santa Claus for her family Christmas. So I was like, all right, yeah, sure. So this was mid to late August when this happened. So I'm just like, dang, I got 3 months to try to grow this out now. I'm like, dang, like, all right, this is going to be some work. I mean, long story short, turned out great. I was able to paint it white, do the family Christmas, and everything was good. So
It's good to hear, man. All right, another history lesson. September 30th, 331 BC, Alexander the Great, prepping for a showdown with the Persian emperor over the control of Asia, ordered all of his men to shave. When asked why by one of the commanding officers, Parmenio, he replied, "Don't you know that in battles there's nothing handier to grasp than a beard?"
I mean, that makes sense. And let's be real, I mean, back then they fought vicious.
Yeah.
They fought very viciously. So I mean, and yeah, I mean, like you didn't have body armor that you could just like tuck it into and go. So I mean, I guess, but this has always been my logic or my thinking is with my beard. And I told this to my ex-girlfriend. I was with her for 9.5 years, and we were talking about moving closer to her family. And so we started looking for jobs up by them for me and stuff. And so I found one at an ethanol plant. And she goes, "Well, what if they ask you to shave your beard?" I don't have a job. We keep looking.
No. Yeah, no shit.
So I've always said, I mean, if it comes down to it and someplace wants me to shave, sorry. Like I mean, like this is part of me. This is part of my personality. And I think we're getting to a point in society where, beards, piercings, tattoos are, they're definitely starting to become the norm and definitely accepted more. So, I mean, I haven't come across anything that they're like, all right, you need to tame it down. Actually, I had an interview with a guy when I first got out here, and so I worked for this company for just a minute. And so like I went in, I had my interview, and he's just like, yeah, he goes, like if you want to come in on Monday, we'll get you set up and get you going. I was like, all right, cool. He goes, oh, by the way, we'll probably need to have you shave that down. And I was just like inside, like, I just like, my heart sank to the bottom of my stomach. And in my mind, I'm thinking, bro, like I'm walking out of here and you are not seeing me. Like I just kind of like looked at him. He goes, "No." He goes, "I'm just messing with you." And I was like, "Okay." Like, man, like this might have turned real bad real quick.
Yeah, no joke. That's hilarious. I'd probably do the same thing too. I mean, you're telling me I've obviously worked on this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Like, and this is a 6-year investment right here. And I've had it bigger and I've had it wider and stuff like that. But that's back when I wasn't taking care of it. And, I had split ends all over, and it didn't look bad, but it didn't look nice. I mean, when you keep it clean and you keep it looking nice, I mean, obviously, I think people are going to respect that a little bit more. And you probably won't have as much problems with that. So,
yeah. But all right. Next up. Isn't that beard annoying in the summer? No, manliness is not seasonal.
I get that question all the time. And to be honest, my answer has always stayed the same. No, like during the summer, even when it's really hot, really humid, like I don't notice it. I don't notice my face being warmer. I mean, if anything, it acts as a shield from the sun, so it keeps my skin cooler. And then obviously during the winter, it acts obviously basically as a scarf, and keeps my beard plenty warm. So,
does it sweat during the summer? Does it sweat quite a bit? No.
I mean, like even when I'm working out, like no, absolutely not. So, like if like during the summer and stuff when it's really hot and humid and everything, like if I'm like laying down or something, and like it's like sitting like a certain way and like you're breathing into it, then obviously then it becomes an issue and stuff like that, so like then I'll just take and like tuck it inside my shirt and stuff. So, but that's usually like when I'm laying down to go to sleep or something, or lay down in bed to watch TV before we go to bed and everything. So it's not too often, that you get a situation like that.
I imagine if you were to trim that, it'd probably look pretty impressive with the hedge trimmer, just kind of.
Oh man. Yeah. I mean, I've had people ask me too, do you even remember what you look like without a beard? No, not really. I mean, there are very few photos of me taken within the last probably 15 years that I don't have a beard. Or I mean, even before I started growing beards, I always had a goatee and everything like that, so I've always had facial hair, basically since high school on. And then I've just expanded
it. All right. Another history lesson. In 155 BC, 3 Greek philosophers visited Rome after being invited to share knowledge and accomplishments in their respected fields of interest. As they were presenting their teachings, the Roman audience couldn't help but notice that all 3 wise men had 3 of their very own, they each had their own distinct facial hair. By mid-140 BC, different schools of thought in Rome could be recognized by different styles of beards.
I guess I did not know that. That's very interesting.
Yeah.
But I guess it kind of applies to even today. People just, they have different styles, and, some people like to do like the longer mustache, and everything. That's obviously not me. Some people, I've seen people who have, massive girth on their beards, length. Things
you've been to actual competitions, right? Or shows, beard shows.
Yeah. And so I've come across people who I've sat down and I'm just like, I'm drooling. Thankfully, it's going into the beard, so nobody sees it. But I come across people who have beards who I envy, and I'm just like, dang, like, I'm gonna fangirl for a minute. So
I do find it funny because I before I had a beard, I didn't really care, and then now that I got one, I look at other guys' beards. I'm like, man, I want mine to look like that, or I want mine to look like that.
Yep, and too, since I've invested more time into properly taking care of my beard, it's again, you definitely walk around with your head held high, and in hopes to maybe, inspire a younger male coming up, wanting to throw a game down, and everything like that, So it's nice. You can have a good impact because it could strike up a conversation with a complete random stranger at any given time, and again, look at me and Jim Bob. It brought probably my best friend into my life.
Wow.
And absolutely. So it's crazy what something so small as facial hair could possibly do. So it's nice to sit down and just be able to have conversation. Again,
just like you
never know when just a nice conversation could be something that somebody's looking for, and if it's a conversation about facial hair, damn, let's do it.
Yeah.
It's crazy, like you said, you don't put in the time to think about how crazy a beard could really impact something.
Yeah.
So
that's kind of when I started podcasting, my first 7 or 8 episodes, they weren't that great. I did them solo, but I kind of, the more I did it, the more I had an idea of what I wanted to do. Mm-hmm. And then I had a guest on. I was like, man, this was so neat because I met I'm meeting people now that I would never. I'll probably never. The chances of us ever actually meeting in real life are slim. Right. You never know down the road, but I would have never met you. Especially the reason I found you was because you had a picture with Dan Cummins, man.
Yeah.
I started getting into podcasting because I found Time Suck, and I found it. Have you listened to any Time Suck at all?
Oh man, all the time. Actually, that's how I got introduced to him, was from my girlfriend. She introduced me to him and everything when we were commuting back and forth to seeing one another. And so, yeah, I mean, she got me stuck on it hard. And so, yeah, so like, I mean, when I do have a chance to listen to any podcast, like that's the one I hit, you know? And so she came back and she's like, yeah, like he's going to be in Cleveland. I'm like, how far away from here is it to there? And she's like, I don't know, like 3.5, 4 hours. I was like, oh, well, shit, for me back home, that's me to go up to Minneapolis, you know? And if you want to do anything crazy fun, that's where you got to go. So like, shit, that's normal for me. so I was like, yeah, let's go. So yeah, so we went and saw a show, and then we came up from the comedy show, and she's like, well, let's sit down here and just have a drink at the bar. I was like, all right, cool. Well, then the opening act came up, Pat House. I don't know if you've heard of him. And so we just kind of started talking to him and everything like that. And then a little bit later, next thing I know, I look over and there's Dan, you know, and like, she's like jumping out of her freaking drawers. You know, I'm just like, calm it, you know, I mean, like, you don't need that, you know? And so, I mean, sure enough, you know, I mean, she goes over and she's just like, taps him on his shoulder. She's like, hi. Like, really, is this how this is going to go down? Like, this is how I'm going to be in Cummins. So yeah, I mean, we got the chance to take photos with him and everything, which was a slim opportunity because of COVID. You know, I mean, he's not doing any interaction with fans afterwards and everything like that and whatnot. So I mean, we just, by the luck of straw, I mean, pulled the right string, and we stuck around and we got to meet him. So that was awesome. Yeah,
that was neat. If I had that, yeah, I think he's coming to Kansas City here in like 2 months, so I might try and see him.
Do it. You will not be disappointed. You will not be disappointed. And if there's a bar around in the facility, stick around afterwards. You might get to see him.
That's good. Yeah, COVID's still happening. So
yes, exactly.
All right. Where are we at here? Okay, my friend was looking at an old picture of me without a beard and asked, "Did you grow a beard?" And I responded with, "No, I just shaved my photos."
I mean, I might have to adopt that one right now, honestly. That's actually a good one. I've never heard that one, so.
That's clever, I know. I don't, I don't really take too many pictures, but I feel like I look older with, you know, the facial hair. Without it, I look like I'm 12, man. I'm 32.
I see. I wouldn't have guessed that. You know, like, and actually, I get that all the time. You know, they're just like, "Well, how old are you?" I'm like 36, and they're like, "Oh man, I thought you were like closer to 40."
Because you got a massive beard.
Jeez, like, man, like if you're trying to give me any reason to shave, like, you might be giving me the right one right now.
Hey, men age better or look better older than women do. Is what they say.
I guess I'll take it and I'll run with it.
At least that's what my wife says. At least, yeah, men look better.
There you go. I mean, she wouldn't lie, right?
Yeah, well, you know, I mean, her opinion's her opinion's the only one that matters to me. So
there you go.
All right, another history lesson. During President JFK's time in office, the CIA devised some plans to try to take down the communist government in Cuba, known as the Cuba Project. One of the initiatives of the project was spreading Castro's clothing with thallium salts that would make his beard fall out.
Ooh, that's some fighting stuff right there. Like,
yeah, that's rough.
Like that's on the verge of starting another world war almost. I mean, I'm gonna give it hell if somebody ever did that to me. Like, look out! Like,
yeah, no shit. If you
like,
if you just wake up the next day and you're just like, it's all just falling on your chest.
Flat out rampage. And I've always told people too, who've told me, they're just like, well, I'm gonna shave your beard when you're sleeping. Hey, you know what? I don't get mad. I get even. So guess what? You got some pretty goldy locks on the back of your head. Guess what? Watch out the next night. You better sleep with one eye open because I'm coming for them.
You'd have to be furious. Like, if you woke up and it was just gone.
Yeah, I mean, I mean, one of the closest stories that I could probably even like relate to that is, so I've got two brothers. I've got an older one and a younger one. And one of my younger brother went out with some of his friends, and I mean, he got a little too much. And they decided they wanted to play a prank on him, and they put some Nair on his head.
Oh man!
Just before we had a family get together.
Man, that's
I
know what Nair does too. Like that's crazy.
Yeah, and like it's not in that spot where you can easily cover it up with a hat. Like,
yeah,
bro, like anybody ever did that to me? I mean, again, it's done. Like it's over.
This is death sentence right there. You know, one of my favorite. Have you ever seen? I love Ron Swanson.
Yes,
Parks and Rec. Oh man, his like just demeanor is like the perfect example of just being a American man.
You have to tip your hat to Ron Swanson all day, every day.
Oh yeah, even Nick Offerman in general, man. A lot of the stuff he does, it's impressive.
Yes.
So this next one reminds you of that. It says, how to grow a beard, quit shaving, eat steak with every meal, and use power tools daily.
Facts. I mean, no disrespect to you office guys out there who might watch this or catch this. Like, no, y'all, but I mean, your boy grew up on the farm, so.
How many acres did you live on?
Oh gosh, it was a couple hundred. I mean, between what my dad had and grandpa had and aunts and uncles had, I mean, like you were always around on the farm, I mean, gosh, I mean, they all lived within probably a 10-mile radius of one another, so I mean, there was always something to do.
Mm-hmm.
So
did you have like livestock and all that stuff?
Yeah. So growing up, we had, like when I was real young, Dad had some pigs and everything like that. Stunk up the yard. So I mean, that was always fun. So like I'm basically immune to the odor of pig manure and everything.
Yeah.
Got rid of those. Then he started getting into cattle and everything like that. So we had cattle around the yard and stuff like that, which brought on a whole new, jobs to do around to keep up on and everything like that. So, but I mean, honestly, I wouldn't trade anything for growing up on the farm, to be honest with you. I mean, it taught me so much. I mean, it's just a great opportunity just to get away. I mean, nothing with people who like living in big cities and everything like that. But I mean, me personally, I just like the quietness of being out on the farm at night, and just enjoy that, just even if it's just a 10-minute moment of just quietness and just take a deep breath and just escape for just that little bit. So, I mean, it's if you haven't experienced it, do it.
That's how I feel about fishing, man. Sometimes just going out on the lake and just getting out in the middle of the lake, middle of nowhere, and just relaxing.
Yep, exactly. And I'm going to say this too. There is no better meat than farm fresh meat. Like, man, I mean, growing up on that, and then I had a buddy before I moved, probably the last couple of years, I'd go out and help him on his farm and stuff. And so I would just get fresh meats from him. Man, day and night difference between that and what you get at the store. And
yeah,
honestly, I was just talking to that guy tonight. And of course, he had to send me a picture of some hamburger patties that he was frying up on the grill. Excuse me. And I was just like, man, like I miss that. Like I miss that hard.
Yeah. So I've always lived in the city, but I moved out to Colorado for a little bit, but I see I'd be happy with like 10 acres.
Yeah.
Hundreds of acres. I feel like if I had that much land, I would probably only take about 10 acres and then let farmers farm the rest of it.
Well, yeah. I mean, we had crops and stuff growing up too, so I mean, yeah, I mean, we were, and of course, we'd have to go out and bale all the pastures up and everything like that for hay for the animals and whatnot. And, but I mean, even just, getting to sit on the tractor and just, I mean, you don't have the hustle and bustle of, somebody blowing up your phone, like, again, it gives you that chance just to break away from everything, I mean, and with my last job, I mean, I was a supervisor there for probably like 6 years. And, you being a supervisor too, you can probably relate, but I mean, some of the ridiculous questions that you get asked or some of the ridiculous phone calls that you may get. I mean, I had 2 girls call me up one day and they're just like, the bathroom toilet's plugged. Plunge it. We tried, we couldn't do it. I went over there, one pop, done. And I'm just like, you guys are so lucky. I literally lived a block and a half from work. So I just walked over there, but I'm just like, I mean, so, just to get the break from some of that ridiculousness, like it's nice, just, sit on the tractor or get in the Bobcat and just do your thing. Like, give it to me.
Yeah, man. I think my craziest one recently was when I was supervisor of the tire center. And this kid had blown a tire, threw a spare on, brought it in, and his parents bought him a set of tires. And we're mounting the tires, and we give them, they had left, and we're looking for the fourth wheel, to put the tire on. And we're looking in the trunk, the back seat, nothing. So we call him, and you can hear the kid in the background. The mom's yelling, "Hey, they look for your other wheel." He's like, "Oh, well, I left it on the side of the road. I thought they replaced the wheels too."
Wow. That's crazy.
She was livid. You just hear her yelling.
Oh, I bet. Oh man, I'm sure that was a great phone call to be on, but you're just like, what Sam hell?
Well, just hearing his response, like I couldn't help but laugh.
We just carry all these rims that that we just magically know are gonna fit your car, bro. Oh man. Here's your sign, buddy.
Yeah, no joke. All right, I got one more history lesson, and then we'll kind of wrap it up a little. Right before he was condemned and hanged for treason by King Henry VIII, Sir Thomas More pushed his beard aside so that it hung outside of the execution block. As he so eloquently explained right before his death, his beard had not offended the king.
I mean, props to homeboy. I mean, hey, I mean, I'll do what I can. I mean, I don't blame him at all. Not one bit.
I saved that for the last just because he definitely gave respect to his beard as he was dying.
Absolutely, as he should. Anybody with a beard should do.
And
it's funny.
Go ahead.
Oh no, I was just gonna say, I mean, when I went through my TikToking phase of watching it, countless hours of, I came across a guy that went by Beard Laws. I don't know if you've seen his videos and stuff, and he's got a pretty nice beard, and it's like he'll show videos, I mean, if you're familiar, where guys are going to shave their beards and stuff like that, and he does his reaction and everything like that. And I'm just like, like, man, take their man card. They're not. Oh
man. I see. For me, I think my biggest, and I wanted to talk about this more than find stuff about it, but what if you were to get in some crazy situation where it was life or death and it had to do with your beard? Could you think of anything?
I don't think so, man. Like, I mean, no, I don't
like think. If you're riding on a gas powered go-kart and you're like cruising and you look back to see if your girl's okay and the wind catches your beard and it gets caught in the propeller and
I mean,
the go-kart and just like jerk your head back.
I don't know if I would want to even like put too much thought into those types of thoughts, you know. Man, like, I mean, so much could happen, like,
yeah,
and just even like permanent, like long-term effects from something like that. You know, something like that. I mean, like you're talking like you could rip your skin with it, and like your beard growing days are probably done.
Yeah.
You know, but I mean, you know, again, I mean, growing up on the farm, I mean, obviously, I mean, you learn pretty dang quick to, you know, to really watch what you're doing, especially when you're working around, you know, like PTO shafts and everything like that. You know, I mean, any limb, you know, could become a victim real fast, you know. So I mean, you know, so I mean, I guess I've kind of learned at that early age to be, you know, really cautious and aware of your surroundings and everything like that. You know, I mean, I probably had one situation that I can think of that, you know, I can look back at and I'm just like, all right, that was probably stupid. So again, before I moved, my cousin's husband, one of my cousin's husbands, him and I wanted to take a old fuel tank that you would have down in your basements for your furnace. You know, I mean, you're old enough. You should probably remember back in the day, you had those big, whatever, 100, 150, 200 gallon tanks down in your basement.
Yep.
And we wanted to, because he had one in his shed, and we're like, yeah, like let's make that into a barbecue pit, like, and we'll mount it up on, you know, like this frame and everything like that, and it's gonna be great. So like I found this frame, got it for nothing, and so like I was out at my buddy's place working on it, you know, making some changes and stuff. I needed to change the hitch out and everything like that, and he snapped a photo of me. And after I was done working and seeing it, I was like, that probably wasn't the best, because I had the grinder out and I was grinding some bolts, and you have the sparks, you know, and I probably, you know, recently had put in some oil and everything like that, which probably isn't a good combo and and everything like that. But, you know, I mean, I scaped by luckily on that one. And but yeah, that's probably one that I'm just like, yeah, I'm probably not going to do that again. You know, I mean, if anything, like tucking in my shirt, put my shirt up high, and
yeah, I think your biggest would be heat and flame.
Yeah.
All right, man. Do you have any shout outs? I mean, you kind of talked about your buddy Jim Bob.
Yeah, I mean, I got my buddy Jim Bob. We've got the Grizzly crew. That's all of our ambassadors. You know, we definitely.
Where can they find you? Where can all of these people find you at?
Right. Oh, wait, I got to do this again. Right here. No, right there. Grizzly Beards 507. Yeah, Grizzly Beards 507 on the Instagram. That is the only social media that I have. Again, I mean, if anybody who has a beard or is inspired to have a beard or has a loved one who has a beard, and you have questions, I mean, hit me up. If I don't have the answer for you, I can definitely either get the answer for you, or I can direct you in the direction to get the answer. You know, or if you have questions on products, or anything like that, I mean, we most definitely will do everything we can to get you hooked up right. You know, and yeah, I mean, that's what we do. You know, we aim to please the customers as best we can. You know, and two, I mean, if obviously, I mean, again, with everything going on in the world this last year and a half or so, you know, I mean, sometimes things can get tight, you know, so, I mean, you know, if you're in a situation, I mean, hey, we can always work something out. There's discount codes that we have, as ambassadors that we can give out. You know, so, I mean, the one quote that's always stuck out to me in life, and I've carried it with me ever since I've heard it. It's an old Abraham Lincoln quote, and there's no such thing as a stupid question except for a question not asked. So don't ever be afraid to hit myself up, Jim Bob's up, and ask questions. I mean, without asking questions, you know, who knows? You might get lost with, you know, not knowing what direction to go in or whatever, or what products to use, different combs that we might have to offer. I mean, there's so much that can go into it, and actually, I mean, I've had people from literally all over the world. I had a gal from Israel reach out to me and was like, hey, like, I'm thinking about maybe wanting to order some stuff for my dad. Like, can you help me with this? And I'm just like, absolutely.
Wow.
Like, if you're really interested in it, like, yeah, like, let's sit down and let's talk, So whether or not she ended up ordering or not, I couldn't tell you, but, I mean, yeah, we ship worldwide. I mean, obviously international shipping is going to be a little bit more, so, I mean, if there's an issue with that, again, hit me up. We've got discount codes to help you out with that. And I told Jim Bob, let's make this a worldwide thing. Let's not just keep it to Central Michigan. let's reach the world, man. So
yeah, man.
Yeah.
I found him on Facebook too. So I'm gonna add that in the description as well too, along with your Instagram. So
yes, absolutely. So
all right, man. It has been a pleasure.
Absolutely. I appreciate this. This was fun. I wasn't sure what to expect. I know you told me, I don't really kind of tell anybody what the topic is up until, go time. And that's what it was. And it was a blast. So, I mean, a little shakiness, a little nerves going into it, but at the end of the day, hey, like I told you, if there's one thing I know, it's beards.
With that, you, sir, have a wonderful evening.
Appreciate it, brother.
Have a good night.